recall when I had a web design company which employed purely disabled people, young people I took from college. And when we gave them freedom to do what they wanted to do in real life projects, they suddenly came alive and they learnt more in real life conditions than they did in a college. So I was quite looking forward to learning how it might work. Unfortunately, when I first tried it, it didn't work at all. I thought it was, I did mention actually, I did a stand-up and explained it just didn't work for me. But I've persevered, and I got some books. So I brought some books in because I didn't know about all this until last minute, and then Steve said it's a show and tell. So I thought I'd bring some books. So I brought some books that I've got some from home that I've been browsing through. And it's about mindset and critical thinking and different techniques. And if anybody ever wants to borrow any of this stuff, you're more than welcome. But it kind of gave me some ideas anyway. The mindset one actually didn't make sense until I started reading it. The difference between fixed and growth mindsets. And I tried to put some of this back into the lesson that I had to do for the observation. And I'm going to be honest with you, I had to bring the lesson forward. The students weren't prepared, which worried me. But in effect, it's really what it was all about. I just need to show you briefly how I tend to teach. I teach using a VLE anyway, Virtual Learning Environment Moodle. And if you can just see the board, you'll see at the beginning of each lesson, I always tell the students what they're going to learn. I teach, in this case, vector 2D animation, which is what we call flash mobs. You know those things you see on websites and games? They make flash games, you download them onto your phone. And in this case, they'd be just learning very basic stuff using Flash. Now, these kids had only had 2 lessons. Because it was very basic, I give them quizzes to check the knowledge. I tried to set them into teams earlier in the course when it was a written assignment, and I set up activities where they split up into teams of 3 and would share the research. So in their assignment it meant tons of research. So instead of them all doing the same research, each team split between 3, create an answer on the activity on a forum, and then they all plough in together, and everyone then has got masses of resources, and all they've got to do is look at where it's combined on Moodle. It worked okay at first, and then didn't work. So I was a bit perturbed, but I split them into the teams of 3. When they walked in, I gave them some, I think it was Santana, some Santana, Carlos Santana. I normally have a bit of meditation, bong music when I do a register to calm them down. But I wanted them a bit up on this, so we have some Santana. And as they walked in, let me get the right one. We had this blasting full screen on the board as they walked into the classroom. So we had some Santana blasting out, and we just had an avalanche with a snowboarder, because web designers kind of surf in the summer and snowboard in the winter, and they work at 3 o'clock in the morning when they're drunk. This is all they came into. It was kind of different. I dimmed the lights slightly, and then I sat them down, split them into their teams, and then I gave them a project, which was a real life project. They had to create an advertising banner for a web page for a new holiday company which is going to offer snowboarding to yuppie web designers. And so they could relate to it, hopefully. they kind of got quite involved. But when I went further, I gave them a team leader each. The only way I helped them was I set them time zones. One to plan, one to create individual projects, then to get together as a team, and then a showcase at the end to show their work. And the way this worked was they had to produce a very basic animation where you would have a backdrop of snow. So you get a backdrop, you get snow falling down, you would get a snowboarder going across the screen, and then we'd have exploding text, just, or whatever they wanted. Advertising the holiday company. 3 tasks, but they could do whatever they wanted. It was their advert, it was their project. It was, I think I offered them something like a £1,500 bonus and a free skiing holiday, which they never got because it was crap. They had to split each one between the 3, so one would do the text, one would do the snowboarder, one would do all the snow falling, all in different animation. The problem is they'd never been taught it. So what I did is, in these 2 lessons here, are all the lessons, the resources and the screen movers. So all the skills they required were on there. There was written tutorials which just looked like this. Very basic, very short. And then there's a screen movie I produced which is here. And look like this. Oh, not that. Look something like this. Eventually. And this is the software they use. They have 2 screens. So they have this movie in the left screen. In the right screen they have their blank software screen. And they can follow, but they're not shown what they have to do, just the skill they need to do it. So initially they had to plan, then each person produces and so on. In between, I had one proviso, and that's that they had to all email me individually at certain stages to tell me what their thoughts and concerns were. That in itself was interesting. I have put up a blog to go with all this, including a questionnaire on mindset. Unfortunately, I think there's only me ever looks at the blog, so I don't get any response. But these are the responses. I don't think you can really see them on the screen. But it was very interesting, and I'll try and read just a couple out to you. As a person who has never used Flash before, I am feeling nervous. Personally, I think that I would have preferred to have had time to go through the tutorials first, as I was having problems earlier today with the first tutorial. Another one, and I'm picking them at random. I feel that I can achieve the set project whilst collaborating with my teammates. We have a blend of Flash skills and good creative juices. I'm not going to say where he got them from. I'm feeling quite confident. Sick. However, this will be a difficult, as I haven't used Flash in 4 years. 4 years? God, he's only 16. But it kind of progressed, and then at each stage they would email me. And the team leader had to email me the plans, and then the final thing. And just to rush through, I just brought one very basic animation that they produced. And from someone who's never touched the software, to produce that as a team ain't bad in a very short lesson. The fact is that they really enjoyed it. And one team even came back into college the next day when they're not due in, So it was in their own time to work together as a team because the software was there, and they'd never done that when they had to write an essay. So that was quite impressive. So that was me. Thanks.